as sales trainers, we're often asked, what is the one piece of advice that you would give us to help us sell more? Well, our eyes raise to the top of our heads because we realize, and as I'm sure you do, there isn't just one reason. There is no one silver bullet. So what we've done here is put 10 reasons together that if you consider each of them, you do something about them, they will positively impact your sales outcomes. This is not an exhaustive list. There are more than 10 reasons, but these are 10 good ones, common ones, that I think if you really start to think about them in a practical sense, doing something about them will help you. Are you ready for 10 reasons you're not selling? Well, here we go. Number one, yeah, you talk too much and you don't listen. I mean, you probably hate it when you're in a buying environment and someone that's selling to you is just bombarding you with information, and it's just not too much, isn't it? So why do you do it? I mean, why do you talk too much? You've got the verbals. I mean, maybe you're excited, maybe you're keen, maybe you're eager, but it's question after question. Well, probably not really questions, just information overload. I mean, why do you do that? Yeah, maybe you're nervous. Maybe you don't really like the selling part. It might be because you just lose all sense of perspective around the conversation. I think a good measure here is if you talk too much and you analyze that, if you're talking more than about 30% of the meeting, you've probably overdone the talking. You probably haven't prepared the right questions for the sales meeting or sales call. And that takes us to the second point. That is indeed, you do not prepare for sales calls or sales meetings. I mean, have you ever left that sales call when you've gone, damn it, that's what I meant to ask. That's what I meant to say. I'll cover it next time. The reality is that's probably happened because you haven't planned. You haven't prepared. You don't really deserve to succeed, do you? If you think about all that effort you've gone to create this meeting, this opportunity, yet you pitch up relying on luck. Think about how a sales planning tool like our Whopper tool might help you create better sales outcomes by being prepared. Number three, you don't write down what happened before. I mean, a powerful start to any sales meeting is a recap of what was previously agreed, perhaps. I mean, do you hear yourself starting off with that? No, probably not, because you're happy to go over previously trodden ground. And almost you're repeating the meeting. So is it a surprise that you're not closing deals? I mean, a nice thing to do when you're writing things down is you can be really clear on the commitments made by yourself, by your prospect, by your customer. You show you're listening to the previous point, and you're taking in all of that valuable information that your customer is offering you during this conversation. Write down what happened, start the meeting by summarizing what happened before. Number four, you ask for the order too early. Now here's the thing that happens because you don't follow a sales process. I mean, put yourself in the buyer's shoes. Have you ever had those wonderful experiences when you're being sold to, but it just doesn't feel like that? Well, that's because the seller is moving through the sales process, and that process is matching your buying journey. And it's not difficult when it feels like that, is it? And if you're following a sales process, you'll know exactly where you're up to in the sale. If you're not, how do you know? So what happens if you're not following a sales process? There is a high probability that you'll ask for the order far too soon. Two things will happen. One, the customer will say, prospect will say, no, let's go back. There's more we need to do. Or they'll probably and possibly end any chance you have to make the sale there and then because they felt you've been too pushy. The fifth point, your offer isn't really all that. I mean, sorry to tell you this, folks, but actually what you're selling just isn't good enough anymore. It might have been once, but not any longer. It's time to dust down your offer, make it relevant, freshen it up, really think about it from your customer's perspective. What problems are you solving? Why are they really interested in your product, solution, or service? And what is it they are buying? Work hard to make it relevant to the challenges they face now. I mean, please don't wait until it becomes fashionable. Once again, there might be a long wait. Number 6, you don't differentiate from your competition. I mean, all right, I guess you're one of those people that you just don't have to, do you? Everybody knows you. Everybody knows what you do. Well, let me tell you, as your competitor, I love your business because I love to win business from people like you. Because the game in town is to be different, to have something you stand for and something that you shout about. Yeah, how can your prospective customers see you through the fog of sameness that's out there if you're not shining? I mean, don't hide your light under the proverbial bushel. Work out where you win, work out why you win, and differentiate yourself in that space. Selling will become easier because your prospects are excited to be buying from somebody who's better than everybody else out there. And that better isn't necessarily about the product, the service, or the solution. It's how you convey your understanding of their problem or their opportunity and match what you do to that. 7, you become tired and boring. I mean, come on, when was the last time that website was tidied up? The brochure was updated, the presentation was refreshed, logos are in the corners. I should point that way. You know, have you maybe got Google Plus still on your website or on your letterheads? Fax numbers, maybe. You know, what's that really saying about you? Think about your email address. Have you got a private email address, or are you using a Gmail or something similar? And these all give messages to your prospects, to your customers about what's your attention to detail. Are you still excited about what you sell, the problem you solve? Because you know, if you're not, you know, just why the heck would a potential buyer be interested to buy from you? Come on, you can tell me, are you on your A game here or not? If not, maybe it's time to wake up. 8, you don't offer value and you just jump to price. I mean, it's never been easier to sell. I genuinely believe that. But it's never been harder to stand out from the crowd, because value is the piece that people are looking for. There is an ocean of information out there digitally. There's an ocean of information out there on the web, through LinkedIn, through videos like this one. But it's about providing insight and not just information that will differentiate you, to the point number 6, because your customers are actually looking to self-serve. They're looking to self-serve, which means they have to see the value within your offer. And you have to be able to communicate that, because your customers are not necessarily buying on price. If we drop to price, we start to commoditize our products, services, and offering, and we just become one of the mass. It's a transaction. I mean, and let's be honest, the fun part about selling is solving problems and demonstrating the value we add. So let's not jump to price, because jumping to price is the only route down to the bottom of the jar. 9, you don't really differentiate between your selling and marketing. Now, sometimes we forget to sell. You know, if we think about all the digital content we're putting out there, our social media, all our branding, all our networking, all the places we go, we forget, actually, that's the marketing part of our role, filling our sales funnel with great suspects. But let's not forget, the one thing we have to do is to get the selling aspect clear. This is about knowing the next logical step. This is about signposting it to your customer, and it's having content that connects your buyer's journey to your sales process. And here's where you start to feed the sales funnel with the right opportunities as you take them through the conversation in a logical way. Marketing helps at different levels of the sales funnel with different types of content. But each step, you're signposting what your prospect or customers should do next as you help them through the sales process. Don't forget to differentiate your selling and your marketing. Don't just become a marketeer offering great content with no sales messages, or actually just selling when you're just saying, buy my stuff, without providing the insight and the value that we've already spoken about. And number 10, you don't network where your ideal clients hang out. I see this so often. We get into habits about where we hang out, digitally or physically. And we don't often think about, are my ideal clients there? Are my referral networks there? Are there opportunities that I can speak to the right people? And we just fall down into habits that we've always done. Now, don't get me wrong, some of this networking is really good from a social perspective, good for maybe some industry insights, maybe some knowledge, maybe there's some self-development aspects. But if you're going there as part of the reasons the reasons to sell, a little bit of work understanding, are my ideal clients there? Think about where you network now, recognize why you go, and really have a strategy that connects your networking activities with your sales. Therefore, being in the right room is absolutely fundamental. So folks, here are the 10 reasons, and the 10 reasons why you're not selling. You talk too much and you don't listen. You don't prepare for sales meetings or sales calls. You don't write down what happened before. You ask for the order far too early. Your offer isn't all that. You don't differentiate from your competition. You've become tired and boring. You don't offer value, and you jump to price. You don't differentiate your sales and your marketing activities, and you don't network where your ideal client hangs out. I'm sure there's something for you there. We'll see you next time.